everyone. Welcome to the launch of UPPA Media and Alliance Hub, brought to you by Universal Peace and Prosperity Alliance. My given name is Shah Sultan, but I go by Sofia, and I'll be your host. Our goal here is simple, to amplify the conversations that matter, to bring global harmony, peace, and prosperity. To help kick off this episode, let's give a warm welcome to the founder of UPPA and the visionary behind it all, and above all, my mom. So let's give the floor to her. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing great. First of all, I would like to welcome you to our first episode of Media and Alliance Hub, which is for UPPA. I'm thankful and humble to have made it that far. All thanks to Divine, who is my protector, guide, and provider. And, of course, thanks to my daughter, who has always been a force behind this mission. Otherwise, I would have quit a long time ago, trust me. So, now moving forward, today being the first day of UPPA Media and Alliance Hub, we would like to highlight the benefits of this initiative. It aims to actually provide communication, resources, and it will work on extensive collaboration among other media stakeholders to enhance collective impact and innovation. UPPA came into existence. I was asked this question pretty much in every country or every continent I have worked in. Well, it had a sad story behind it, and honestly, I just like to talk happy. So, but today, being the first Media and Alliance Hub, I would like to discuss or clarify it. I created my nonprofit first, which then became the Global Learning eventually, right after going through my divorce. I remember one dark night, I was left alone with my 3-year-old daughter and my 9-year-old son. All I had was a social worker phone number, no place to stay. So I contacted one of my community brother. He picked me up. We went to stay with him and his wife that night. And of course, we weren't welcomed by the wife. And hence, hardly there was any breakfast available for us. But that's okay. Such is life. It was just one night. Next morning, I left to meet the social worker along with my kids. And on the way, I saw my daughter while filling the gas in the car. She picked up the pizza slice from the garbage can. That's how hungry my kids were that morning. And it kind of shook me. I was like, it was like a turning point for me, basically. Realizing what humanity can go through. Before that day, that morning, or that night, I had no idea what humanity goes through. I was just like well-settled, woman who just went on with her life and didn't know much about others around her. Yes, I would socialize, but I would socialize to the people who were usually in my circle. Anyway, long story short, she took us to a church which had a community center as well as the food bank. So they gave us the food, which was enough for 4 weeks. And within 4 to 6 weeks, I believe it took 6 to 8 weeks approximately for me to bounce back. And the impact that it created on our life, me, my daughter, and my son, had it not been because of them, it would have been very difficult. But we survived, and I made a promise that day, when they gave us the food, that if Divine picks me up from this condition, I promise to serve humanity for 10 years. I didn't even think for a second, how will I do that with 2 kids, being a single parent and no support system? I cannot be on the food stamp for more than 2 months. And I didn't. I was only on the food stamp for 2 months, I believe, was something like that. That was the first time going on the public aid, and I had no idea what people go through. So anyway, long story short, this was the story behind it. I started my NGO or nonprofit first in US, brought it to Asia because my dad was in Asia. So as I went to be with him, I started the nonprofit there, and then I was given an assignment of working on United Nations SDG goals as a High Commissioner for one of the organizations. And I took my nonprofit to Africa. From there, again, it got back registered with US as now I had more of a grip over the global communities, the issues. So I thought this would be the right time to connect back to the roots, which is USA being my foster mother. I was born in Asia, but literally got trained and learned everything that I know today from USA. So I always call USA my foster mother, and Asia my birth mother. So long story short, this is how the UPPA came into existence, and initially it was called Global Learning, but we added another name to it called UPPA, which stands for Universal Peace and Prosperity Alliance. And that was needed because we know that the current situation, we're dealing with a lot of different planets, galaxies, other beings, so on and so forth. So I think it's important to address all of those issues, not just remain global or connected to this planet. That's why we created this Universal Peace and Prosperity Alliance. We added the name project. And the project that got created out of this whole, you can say, journey, it's called UPPA Peace and Prosperity Community Center. Why it was created? Of course, to dedicate to that community center who gave breakfast to my kids the day when they were starving, or when I was starving. So this is how the name came about, and it's my vision and dream to open them in every country around the globe. Let's make it possible. Now let me go back into the detail of what this Peace and Prosperity Center will have. I get this question asked a lot in every country, of course, due to the security reasons or, social reasons. This Peace Center will be open. So far, we have planned to open it in 72 countries. I'm trying this year. In 1 year, I know it's going to be difficult, but we'll still give it a try. So each Peace Center will have, it will be called UPPA Peace and Prosperity Alliance. UPPA Peace and Prosperity Community Center, but each one of them will have 11 other projects under it. And I would like to get into the depth of it. But before I do, let me just explain you what actually will be happening in just the Peace and Prosperity Community Center. It will be working with 5 areas. First, temporary shelter from natural disaster or catastrophe, food drive during the disasters, and the daily meals for food pantry. Hence, the reminder of the days that we had to get the food from the food pantry. Number third is the emergency care, first aid, and health services. During the situations, catastrophic moments, or natural disasters, we all need that help. Number four is temporary shelter on site and online education center for homeschooling. As we know that a lot of people get, the community get displaced and they need temporary shelter, be it for 10 days, 20 days. So that is what the purpose will be for the Peace Center. That's how I have designed it. And secondly, it will have online schooling because kids could get bored, could, go through different traumas during those events. So it's important to keep them busy. Third area that it will cover within the education is also employability skills and survival skills, because during the disasters or unseen or emergencies or things like that, sometimes people end up losing what they had, how they were making money, or their tools or the gadgets or their office or their industries, whatnot. So they need maybe other employability skills and survival skills to get back on their feet. And that is the area for education. The last but not least, the clean energy. Portable equipment, outdoor cooking, cold and heat protection gadgets, with clothing for survival during disasters. So it will be covering 5 basic areas: shelter, food, energy and gadgets, health, and above all, education. Those 5 are the necessities, and I'm sure you all agree to that. So those are the areas that will be covered by UPA Peace and Prosperity Community Center worldwide. Now, the same center will become the umbrella, and we will have different stakeholders from different countries who can, collaborate with us, or different organizations who can collaborate with us to do the other 11 areas of it, which now I will share with you. So, the first is called Peace and Prosperity Community Center, like we mentioned. The second is called UPA Monthly or Quarterly Peace Conferences, to bring peace and to unite and gather nations, communities, and resources. We are all going through the current affairs and what's happening around the world, and we can see every day there is a battle for different community, different mining or resources issues, and or nations. So if we had those peace conferences, I know that we cannot change the world overnight, but every little steps count. So far, I've been doing the yearly conferences since, I don't know, about 8-10 years. But now I would like to change that into quarterly, monthly conferences so that we can connect the dots and see what facilitation each nation needs, community needs, and how we put all those resources together to save our kids. That is what's important right now. Number 3 is Tribal Leadership Alliance. And that's not just from USA, tribal leadership as in Asia, in Pacific Asia, in Australia, New Zealand. We have tribal leaders everywhere. Africa, US, Canada, EU. I'm sure most of these countries have tribal leaderships coming from the ancestry. So it's time we unite them and see how we can work together. Because this is not the time to go our ways. This is the time to work together. And that's important. Going our ways may not be helpful because we are facing challenges from other planets right now. And I am pretty sure a lot of you guys are not aware of it. The fourth area, it's called Aid and Justice Center to help communities. That doesn't mean that we'll be fighting cases for the nations. That's why the other organizations are for. Aid and Justice Center will only help with pro bono lawyers, legal aid, paralegals, social workers to assist. Smaller things, smaller issues, daily issues. Like, I remember when I was in Asia, I found that the youth wanted to do so much, but they could not afford to get their license. Well, there could be a pro bono lawyer or paralegal who can try and help so they can save on the legal cost. If we don't help our youth, that was my thing to question. If we don't help our youth in some of those developing countries, who will? And I remember having that debate that pretty much everyone is focused on industries. But youth are not running the industries. Youth are running incubators, small and medium enterprise, which we call SMEs. Youth are going off innovative incubators. They have their own mindset. They want to create their own things, but they get stuck when it comes to licensing and permits. Why? Why can't we provide them the pro bono lawyers or legal aid or paralegals to do that job, and fundraise a little bit fees here and there for each community. This way, the youth will get engaged in the economic development of each country, right? In case our industries don't work, or in case, catastrophe happens, or they're on fire, or God forbid, we have to plan. And that is exactly what I'm trying to get to. You have to plan smaller things to get to the big things. We cannot just count on big things and expect that we will be okay. Number 5 is a podcast, which I started last August thanks to my daughter. My voice has to go out. My frequency has to reach to maximum. And she thinks my voice and my frequency creates love. And that's all I'm trying to do. I never make a sarcastic remark, or I don't do any negative statements because I don't believe in it. We're all in it together. And if we remain positive, we can create the positive and love frequency. And we can all survive, or as many as we could. try to survive. So that's why the podcast has been running for 17 months, and it's doing okay. Not every week, because life happens for me too. So every month I try to do it. Disaster number number 6 is Disaster Recovery Center, where all we have done so far, we are working in collaboration. We're trying to get in collaboration with one of the teams based out of UK, and we're trying other countries as well, to see if we can try the survival skills training as well. But so far we have managed to put the kids together, on UPPA, for flood, for hurricane, for volcano, for I believe it's for wilderness, for home and shelter. So far we have 2 wings that we have created of Supreme Council. One is for the knights. So we have a knight from Bulgaria, Archbishop, and then we have a knight from Italy. Sorry, I forget his title. I believe he's ambassador to Vatican, and also Grandmaster. That's who he is. So we have a couple of knights, and then we also have in our strategic planning wing, we have team that helps us do the strategic planning for those peace center, as in logistics, because I've already planned the vision on how it will run, who will do what, how it will go down on the ground, and so on and so forth. But the logistics of each country is different, so that's why we have strategic planners for that. Each country is different, so that's why we have strategic planners for that way. Number 8 is Wish Granting Angels of Peace and Prosperity. This project just came. It was not supposed to be part of the UPPA, but it just came to me last Christmas, which was about a month ago. I was sitting there wishing for my son to visit me or to see me for holidays, and he couldn't due to his work. So I wished that, or financial issues, whatever he had. So I came up with this vision that perhaps if I do wish granting, I could, at least provide gifts to some of the kids who have nothing, even if it is a used clothing, used school supplies, or distribute it to the schools, or to buy tickets to the family members to travel and see each other. So this was just inspired by me missing my son, who could not see me for holidays. And then the project was good, but I would like to carry it on now every year because it's good. So it will be now the wish granting Angels of Peace and Prosperity has changed. It's not just going to be for the holidays, but it will be all year long. So anyone who still has their wishes, of course good wishes, can write to us, and we will try and fulfill. No promises, it's the divine. He does the miracle, I read the email and try to talk to others. This is my job. Number 9 is Peace Homes. As you heard, that our temporary shelter will be provided by Peace and Prosperity Community Center, but I still like to settle some of those people into studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. I've created this project, I don't know, about 8-10 years ago, and it's my dream project. So it doesn't have to be permanent. It could be a temporary model, could be a globe, could be anything, could be in an RV format, could be but it's important for the world to have home, because I know what it feels like when we had one. Number 10 is Displaced Community and Security Center. Displaced Community and Security Center is kind of sensitive, as we all know that during the disasters and conflicts and riots and whatnot, a lot of people get displaced. During flood, a lot of people get displaced. So we need to put it together. We need to have team handy. I know there are a lot of big organizations out there, but I believe that my peace centers should be in every country, and this way it could have a lot of community who can help us as well. So I like to keep the database. Like every country that I travel to, I end up having youth like bombarding me, and I become a mother of that country. And those are the teams that we always welcome to join. Then 11th is called Fisheries and Agri Tech Center. Fisheries and Agri Tech Center, I'm not talking about like $1 billion worth of projects. I'm talking smaller projects under the community center, because we got to have a sustainable food supply. We all know that maybe, very maybe, God forbid, farms could be gone in the water or in the flooding, and or we could have a drought, we could lose the food, we could have fire, we could have anything, right? So we should be prepared. So that's why my community center, the way I designed it, each one will have its own small fish pond, and the farm, which is going to be the vertical farming, so that there's always food available, even if it is a bunch of tomatoes, but it's a food available during the issues or conflicts or disasters. And I added space innovation to that. I know many of you ask why space. Yeah, I'm not a space genius. Involving our youth into space innovation as well. Yes, AI is very good and a hot topic of the day, but at the end of the day, it's the humans who are real. So I always go for that, and my voting is always for human innovation. Last but not least, tech innovation, health and energy. Of course, the tech innovation as in gadgets, like what kind of phone will we use, what kind of electricity will we use, what kind of stove will we use, where the energy will come from, where we get the gas tank, and so on and so forth, how we will keep ourselves warm. And health, above all, health requires innovation. As we all know, I was also reading something today that they've done this exercise in one of the countries where they were training on the field during the disaster, the health technology, because it's important. We will have to heal people through technology. They could be online and we could heal. Not like all the hospitals and clinics and pharmacies would be open during floods and riots and or other disasters. And unfortunately, we have brought all this upon ourselves. It's called ego, power, and greed. I just hope we come out of it before we lose all of us. Funding opportunities, last but not least, funding opportunities. UPPA, along with its media and alliance hub, will provide a solid foundation emphasizing and collaborating on funding opportunities for various projects. Networking, it will harness collaboration to build stronger partnerships and achieve shared goals for a sustainable planet. That is our ultimate goal, right? We also have alliances that we would like everyone to join, because I alone or this vision alone cannot do it all, or not, neither my daughter. So we need all those alliances to be filled. And for that, you can join free. My daughter will talk about it more. But our alliances are royals, nobles, and tribal leaders. They're always there to help the nations whenever they are in trouble or whenever they need help. Supreme Council, like knights, strategic planners, and so on and so forth. I'll introduce the other wings shortly. And veterans, of course. There are a lot of retired Army, Navy, Marine, Air Forces, Space Forces. We would love to have them on board, because more the merrier. Women, of course, businesswoman, homemaker woman, any woman who thinks she can make a difference, because we need all hands on the deck right now. Men, youth, of course, nonprofit organizations, interfaith. I don't talk much about interfaith. Like I said, I've done a few courses, but I would still like to get into that a little bit. Lawyers and social workers, peace advocates, the 11th wing. 12th is institutions. All kind of institutions can join. Podcasts and journalists. Recently, since last 17 months, I got onto this podcasting. I end up joining about over 2,000 podcasters. It's a huge community. I have yet to touch the journalist community, which I think it's important, because together we can make strong impacts and share knowledge and resources. My most favorite and the last one, it's called Divine Security Alliance. Whatever, European intelligence or Asia or whatever. So I was always asked this question: what country I represent or whose security services I run. And I always told them the same thing. It's quite amazing, but I always did. I stick to the same answer, because I know when I'm honest and I'm real, I don't have to change the answer in any country. So I always told them one thing: I run Divine Security. At that time, I used to call it agency, but now I call it Divine Security Alliance. I'm a divine spy. You can say that. Why am I a divine spy? I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to show you where love is, where power is. Power is in love, and love is divine light. Only if we can get to that point, we all find our destiny. The rest is history. Kingdoms came, democracies came, leaders came and gone. Everything is temporary. The only thing that survives is love for each other. For all the beings, not just humans, for all the beings. If they are love enlightened, of course, which we can't see. But anyway, I'm sure you guys are out there, so reach out to me. I am looking for recruits for my Divine Security Alliance, which are there to love and to guide all the beings towards divine light. And that is our ultimate mission. With that, I hope you have enjoyed our first segment of Media and Alliance Hub. And do join us with this collaborative effort to unite humanity under joy, kindness, sharing, peace, and prosperity. Always remember, love is the most noble thing in the world. I wish you all a great journey.
So, quick recap of today. We discussed with Marquess Rubina about UPPA and her vision behind it. It was so wonderful to have her today, wasn't it? And just a little sneak peek for next week. You'll receive the Fairmont Royal Media and Alliance Hub launching. So, stay tuned, and hence the mission continues. And this is just the beginning for UPPA Media and Alliance Hub, so be sure to check out our Peace Alliance, to go to www.uppa3.com/groups to join our Peace Alliance, and we'd love to have you on board. Thank you so much for listening and watching from wherever you are, and we really appreciate your time. Thank you. Until next time. Ciao.